Welcome back for the week 7. We are talking about escape from South Africa. We are going to finish for the chapter 17 to escape from South Africa. The road was almost finished. Wood made Bruce though through the half of the Moses, who still think that Wood is a priest. They continued to measure where Wood had the chance to talk about the British acting high commission. He asked help for help. He asked him for help to enter their country. The next morning, Wood met his family after they also escaped from the country, but in a different page. The United Nations helped them to gain passport and helped them to fly by a private plane and pilot. Even though they are happy to be unharmed during this adventure, Wood felt sad as he looked at the window. He might not see his country again; nevertheless, he is happy that his book about Biko will be published at the end of it all, and the sound of thousands of the people singing at Biko's funeral is clear in his mind. Cry freedom somehow. Cry freedom delved into the idea of discrimination, political corruption, and the repercussion of violence. How does Cry Freedom end? The story has a happy ending. Wood and his family made safety to England, where he was able to publish two books about his experiences. The bad news is that Biko was killed. How was appetite and folk in South Africa? After National Party gained power in South Africa in 1948, its all-white government immediately began enforcing existing policies of the resource-rich Craig. In 1991, the government of the President Bouteflika began to repeal most of the legislation that provide the basis of appetite. Why do you call yourself white? State Biko. Why do you call yourself white? You look more pink than white. State prosecution. But your own word can demand for direct confrontation. State Biko, that's right. We demand confrontation. Why was Biko banned? In 1972, Biko was involved founding the Black People Convention (BPC) to promote black consciousness idea among the wider population. The government came to see Biko as South Street and placed him under a banning order in 1973. So restricting his active Biko fame spread posthumously. What for Singh was food forbidden to do for 5 years. Soon after Biko death, Wood was himself placed under 5 year ban. He was stripped of his editorship and was not allowed to speak publicly, write, travel, or even work for the duration of his ban. Over the next year, he was subjected to increasing harassment and his own. How did Steve Biko change the world? Bantu Biko was an anti-apartheid activist in South Africa in 1960 and 1970. A student leader, he later founded the Black Consciousness Movement, which would empower, mobilize much of the urban black population. Is Donna Wood still alive? What happened to Stephen Biko? Stephen Biko, one of the most prominent leaders in the anti-apartheid struggle in police detention December 12, 1977. He was imprisoned on charges of terrorism. The South African Minister of Police announced that he died after 7 days hunger strike. Next, who ruled South Africa during apartheid? The National Party. Racial section has long existed while monitor government of South Africa, but practice was extended under the government led by the National Party, 1948 to 1994, and the party named Racial Section Policies Apartheid African Partnership. What Biko mean? What does Biko mean? Biko is a protest song by British rock musician Peter Gabriel. The song was included in Gabriel's third album, Peter Gabriel. It is about Steve Biko, a noted black and South African anti-apartheid activist. Why Stephen Biko is the hero? Stephen Biko fought against apartheid. It's the single-handedly established the South African student organization SASO with the ideology he adopted from African American Black Power movement. He transformed the landscape of the fight against racial segregation. He advocated for black conscious. Does apartheid still exist in South Africa? Nelson Mandela electoral victory in 1994 signified the end of apartheid in South Africa. The system of widespread racial-based segregation to enforce almost complete separation of different races in South. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Nelson Mandela. Thank you for paying attention.